is one I know almost every owner out there can relate to, and that is that you'll have more time to spend with family or friends.
Well, I found that out when I left the big corporate world and got involved in small businesses. You have these small businesses that, hey, the work there is so easy and routine that you can just pack it up whenever you want and go spend time with family and friends.
That's right. You can work from wherever you want to work from, and see people, and at all times of the day and night and everything in between. Because you have all these people who are working for you. Now that you're the boss,
That's
you don't
right.
have to do anything as the boss, right?
You don't have to do. I bet you most of our listeners out there who own small businesses would be in total agreement with
That's
that.
right. So the phone should be ringing off the hook with this one because they aren't doing anything during the course of the day. Maybe they can come off the golf course or wherever they are, kind of touring around, not doing work. They have a chance to kind of call and let us know that, hey, I'm just hanging out with my kids today, or hanging out with my spouse today, wherever it's going to be, or hanging out with the grandkids, whatever the case may be.
It's noon. They're having lunch, feet up on the desk. Life is good, isn't that how it works?
Yeah. The sad truth though is that unless those close friends or family members are part of the business, chances are you aren't going to be seeing much more of them, especially early on. And I think that probably helps explain. One of the common things that Jack and I see is it's rare that we see a small company that doesn't have some sort of a family member as part of the business. Or a close friend.
Yeah, it seems like it.
And so I think that may be part of what happened, Jack. People may have gotten into it and thinking they'd be able to see a lot more of their family and friends and realize that they can't. So they say, hey, why don't you come on in here with me and become part of become part of the fun and join the company. We'll spend lots of time together then at that point.
Well, if you don't have a friend or a family member in there, chances are very, very high you aren't seeing much of either one of them.
That's very true.
And that's the debunking of that myth.
Yeah, what happens is, as opposed to the boss not doing anything, what happens is, as the boss, you find that you often take on more responsibilities, which will tap into more of that time and the ability to see those folks that you love. And what happens too is actually your family, so to speak, starts to expand because you now often have employees and they have their families as well, and all of a sudden you start to take on more responsibilities or more of that burden for helping to kind of take care of those things. And so we see it a lot. We see it especially with female business owners where they have that natural maternal instinct than us guys do, and they'll take on, and there's often guilt anyway. Even in today's modern age, it seems we're hardwired differently, where the females will often feel tremendous guilt if they're working too much, and they feel guilt, whether it be from, it's more perceived at times versus direct, but they may hear things from their spouse or their kids, or if they don't hear it directly, they'll be feeling it. Yeah. That I got to spend more time doing this and this, and so they will often suffer and have much less sleep because they aren't going to give up the work side of it. They're just putting in more hours, and it can be very, very taxing on the owners.
Sure, 24/7. Their business is on their mind 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It appears, the thoughts appear in the least likely scenarios and the likely scenarios. It's always issues that come, and you have to pay attention to those. And they take precedence over family and friends. It's amazing. And it takes experience to basically get that balance between, we'll call it work and play. Doesn't come easy. You might go into it thinking that, hey, you'll be able to do this. You'll be able to get time away. You'll be able to make time with friends and family. But ain't so. Doesn't quite work like that.
Well, unlike the female mindset, us men are often a little weaker too. And so we had a client a little while back that wound up taking a three week plus vacation because the spouse, wanted him to kind of go with her, and wasn't quite the right time, let's say. The company was starting to do well, just really starting to kind of take off, and he figured he had everything in place that he could just kind of disappear for 3 weeks. And still recovering from that, more than a year later. But to say no to the spouse and kind of put that thing off, hey, it's our anniversary, or hey, it's your birthday, or hey, it's pick one, kind of plug it in. There's always something.
He took a measure and made probably the right decision, but he's paying for it too.
Right. So you have to pick your battles. So I don't know if he reminded her when he was not able to cash that distribution check a couple months back. If he showed it to her, but say we can't cash this yet. You remember that vacation we took last year. You know, drawing that connectivity probably is going to cause a bigger fight than it would have if he had just picked, you know, picked the fight early on.
The old flashing the check, you know, that's it shows progress, and it sort of puts a nail in the process, one point closer to reality here. You wave that check around, it's coming, babe.
Yeah, it's kind of similar, you know, it's some of the techniques you take into business in terms of holding off vendors. You'll start to use in the home front too. Is that what it is? Or hey, the check's been cut. hasn't been signed yet.
It hasn't been signed nor sent, but it's been cut.
It's been cut. So yeah, you try to be able to use those kind of things. But again, so some of those pressures are there. Again, if you go in with the false expectations early on, then that's, you know, a big driver or a big reason for why you want to get into business. You know, talk to almost any business owner out there, and they'll tell you it's not the case. Again, unless they happen to have quite a bit of friends and family as part of the business.
And then that causes other problems. You might have more time with them, but it isn't the kind of quality time you probably thought it would be.
Yes.
Lots of issues with family and friends in business, but that's another segment for another day.
Yeah, that's all part of the fun of it, you know. So if you're thinking about getting into business, and the number one driver is going to be that time with family and friends, chances are you might get there, but it's not going to be for a little while if you start. So don't make that the number one reason. If you're already in business and you're lamenting the fact that you aren't seeing that, relax. It's okay. That's where most people are. Try to enjoy it from the idea of the absence makes the heart grow fonder. Try to make sure, though, that when you do actually get some time with those friends and family, that you aren't always trying to think about work. Try to get away from it a little bit, and, you know, and not physically be with them, but mentally still be back at the business. That's very tempting as well. If you're going to be, you might as well just stay at the business, because you're going to create other problems.
That's exactly right. That's always the best case.
So those are good things to be able to kind of keep in mind for those of you out there, that again, that's not that the boss is not doing anything, and the boss can do whatever he or she wants. Again, as you take on that responsibility of being an owner, you start to realize that there are a lot of other things going on that you didn't realize when you're working for somebody else. So if you're working for somebody like that, have patience with them, because that's what's going on in their world. So
very true.
All right, stick around. We come